Hey howdy hey partners, today we have movie accurate scale Rocky. Let's get into it. You're watching Today I Grew Up. Well partners, we finally got a movie accurate scale Rocky made by Comp. He is a movie accurate toy maker and you can find him on Instagram. Links are in the description and comments below. But this Rocky is pretty cool. I mean, not only is he massive and he's movie accurate scale, he is painted really well. My only complaint with this so far is that the skin tone looks a little bit sunburned. It looks like Rocky just came back from the beach or the ocean and he got too much sun. He seems a little bit too tan. But before I judge him further, I kind of wanted to show off what we got. Rocky also came with this certificate of authenticity signed by John Lasseter. It's awesome to have this because it kind of reminds me of like if you Thinkway Toys did release an official Rocky, they would send this certificate of authenticity with him. So that is actually a really cool addition to owning this movie accurate Rocky. So the other issue I noticed with this Rocky, as you can see, he looks like he's looking down. It could be that because he's a rubbery plastic material, we need to put him in hot water and then see if we can bend the head back so that he's looking up straight like this. As of right now, he doesn't have articulation in the head, only side to side, and I can barely move him up and down, but that's it. So we're going to have to put him in hot water to see if we can fix that. Other than that, that's the only flaw this toy has. I think this toy is really well painted and sculpted for the most part, and his joints do feel solid, and he's a really great toy overall. So we're going to get into the articulation of the figure, and I'll show you how tough he really is, because he's still a tough toy despite those little flaw issues. Now for his arms, they do swing out this way. As you can see there, it does swing out, and they do go back in as well, so he's able to do that. So his arms are really awesome because it does have that great articulation. You can rotate. It's got very solid feeling limbs. They're not squishy at all. It's very solid, so that part feels really nice. And this joint right here allows him to swing in and out all the way back like that. So it's pretty amazing, the posing. He is able to do a lot there. So it does go 360 all the way around. And because of that swing joint, he can come out pretty far and also rotate right here. So that's really nice. So, I mean, it's really cool. I'm not going to knock any points for the articulation of this. So he's able to rotate here at the wrist, 360 as well. So that is actually a really nice fact. His arms are pretty well proportioned. I do like that. So Rocky does have some waist articulation. It does go side to side. I don't want to stretch it too far, but it looks like he's able to move that much, which is enough for articulation. So I just wanted to note that he does rotate at the waist section as well. And then if you look at his body, he's just really buff. Good job on the logo here. Here on the leg joints, it is kind of weird how they swing only up. They rotate 360 and that's cool, but I don't know, I just feel like that's a little limiting, this little pin. I can't really swing them out to do the splits that way, but I could do the splits the other way. So I mean, it's enough. His legs are not going to really support him. Also, I noticed this is a little loose, the joint, but it is well painted, so I'm not going to complain. That's the one thing I don't like about this Rocky is if I shake the toy. I don't like that his legs are loose like that. It's kind of weird. So they do move up, forward and back. Limited, but it works. At least it doesn't feel cheap. So that part is really cool. So I do respect what Comp did there. I do want to add that he's a tough toy. If I shake him around, besides the legs moving, his arms aren't really moving at all. Nothing hinges. This doesn't go back, I just realized, but goes forward. But yeah, he's a solid toy. Like he's pretty tough. If you threw him around the room, he probably would survive just fine. The rest of him looks pretty good. Not too many major paint flaws that I see. It's just the only thing I don't like is we need to fix this area right here because he's looking down and I can't fix that unless I take the head off the body. This is a very expensive toy. I don't recommend you do this, but I did. I pulled this off because I'm going to wet this and try to see if I can get him to look straight on. I was able to pull this off, so I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to pull off the head. Alright, so I pulled the head off very gently. It is meant to be removable. As you can see, if I snap it in place, I'm not able to move this up. I could do this to look straight on, but the problem is I don't like that gap up here. That looks weird. Like, that could technically work to fix his posture, but see, the problem is that we can see his joint, and that's no good. So what I'm gonna do is dip this part right here in hot water, this area, so that I can possibly bend this area up, because we need to fix the head position, but I can't do that unless I dip it in hot water. So let's dip it in hot water, see what happens. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to heat up this water to the boiling point. I'm gonna put this Pyrex glass one, fill it with water. What I'm gonna do is then dip Rocky, the top part of him, like that. And then hopefully what I can do is bend this part of it so that we can kind of bend it to the position we want. My only problem with this method is I hope that with time it holds up shape and it doesn't droop back down again. So wish me luck and let's see if this works. So you want to heat your water to 60 degrees Celsius, or in Fahrenheit be about 120 degrees. That's enough time for the molding of the plastic. I'm going to dip Rocky here, the top part of his torso, kind of soak it like that, and just see if we can get it to be a little bit moldable so we can put the head on. So wish us luck here. Hopefully this works. So that kind of worked because as it's now that I got it hot, it's actually molding. So this is a good time to put in our Rocky head here so we can snap that in place. And now I'm gonna pull up. Man, I hate modding toys sometimes. You gotta pull up. We gotta reshape the plastic so that he is going to look straight up. Oh man, I think this worked. Okay, so I got to do that a couple more times because we want him to look straight out and fix his head position. It seems to be working okay. I just need to re-dip it in hot water and keep trying that until he's looking straight out. So far, a huge improvement already. Alright, I'm getting hungry. Let's get a snack. Oh, what the? Here's Rocky. He's just chilling in the freezer. Get it? I used ice cream. I love vanilla ice cream, by the way, to prop it on his face, to pull him back in that position. And because I dipped him in hot water again, I'm hoping that with 30 minutes in here, this part will cool and kind of mold and stay, because we want him to look straight on as much as possible. So this is just something I came up with. Dip him in hot water, mold him how you like him, and then freeze him to see if it stays. So we'll let Rocky chill in the freezer for now. Enjoy your stay in the freezer. Also, I kept this part out because this is going to help you with taking the head off and on the body, not having this on, because this is just in the way, and this is a little more fragile, and I don't want to break it. So that's why I leave this off. And you can always super glue that back on. All I have to say is that it's a good thing I'm good at making and fixing toys, because if I didn't know what I was doing, this would be worse. Anyways, I just realized that you can actually pull the parts off like Lego. Although I probably wouldn't recommend pulling these legs out. These obviously right here are real screws, even though that might be a fake screw cap paint, I'm not sure. They look like real screws. If they're not, he did a good job pinning that in place. Because that functions properly. But this waist part is just like a plug, you can just plug it back inside of him, take it out. Not that you would want to, but if you want to, I don't know, look at what your toy can do or can't do, that's probably very helpful. Now inside Rocky himself, he's actually very hollow, and you can see the arm joints in there, which is pretty cool. These are also with screws, notice there's a screw job there. Also swings in and out. There's a little paint damage there. It actually came like that. That's not because I dipped it in water. That was a defect but it's under the arms, so you can't really see that. This one Cop did a better job. A little messy there too, but it's under the arm, so it's not as bad. But I just wanted to show you guys what you could do inside. As I'm bending the head back to mold him, you can see I'm changing the shape of the plastic after you dip it in hot water. I'm just pulling on it. But now at least you can see, you know, what this material is. It's a rubbery plastic. It's pretty tough once it's dry, but when you wet it in hot water, you can start molding it and changing the shape of it is what I did here. As you can see here on Rocky's head, I'm just pulling up on it to change the shape, and then you can kind of press down on it to hide the yellow. But we needed to do that because if I don't pull on it and stretch it, we're not going to change the shape of Rocky looking back, which is what we needed to do, because there's a gap here that I can't fix. It's just there, but if I pull back on the head like this, then we have hope for Rocky looking more straight on like he was in the movie. And see, already that's already huge improvement because before his chin was almost touching his chest. Now the one thing about this is you want to dip the head in water, and this needs to be super glued on, which is not an issue at all. It doesn't hurt the Rocky figure at all. This is a pretty great toy. It's pretty tough. I just want to show you a little bit more of the ins and outs of the Rocky toy so you can see what I did. Okay, so I was a little nervous to do that mod, but it actually worked out. Although it's not perfect, he's not looking straight on as much as I probably would like. I would probably want it a little more. I'm able to, at least with the hot water, make that corrective change, because before he was looking down way more, and now look, this is him standing up straight, and the side profile doesn't bother me as much as it did. Now we could probably stretch it out, and he can probably, with time, we can do it again and see if he can stand up a little straighter, but this looks way better than what it was. So it's definitely worth the effort of putting him in some hot water and bending him back if you do get this and have that problem, because it should help correct and fix that issue. Now it's time to see how these toys measure up. As you know, Mattel Rocky here is the 7-inch scale, and our movie accurate size Rocky is going to be closer to a foot scale. So Mattel Rocky here stands right at 7 inches, so he's in line for the 7-inch scale. And here movie accurate Rocky is closer to 11 inches, just under a foot tall, but he is definitely more in movie accurate scale than any other toy Rocky we've ever seen. Now here for fun, we have a Toy Story Collection Bo Peep, a 2009 Cloud Pattern Woody, and Cloud Pattern Buzz back there. You can see how Rocky actually scales with these toys. He is in line and scale with the movie. I know Rocky was a very big toy compared to these guys, not compared to the tiny Mattel one we had. I will say that, you know, Mattel Rocky to your collection, the movie accurate one is just a lot better for obvious reasons. As you can see, he just scales so much better with the toys. So this Rocky is amazing. I really love it. I got a tinker weight and put it in his hand so he can hold that. It's just a really cool toy. He's really fun, and he's an amazing piece to add to the collection. Final thoughts on this Rocky. Well, at first I was very skeptical because his head was kind of drooped down. His legs seem a little fragile. That's the one thing I don't like about this toy. But in the all grand scheme of things, he's amazing and super awesome. And I highly recommend, if you can afford a very expensive price of a few $100s, you can own your very own, finally, movie accurate scale Rocky. Since the toy company's never made him and they just made the little one, you know, this is going to be the only one that I know that you can buy out there that's movie accurate scale. Is Rocky a perfect toy? No, he's not. I think he's a little too tan. He does have the head issues we can still fix with the hot water. Other than that, you know, his legs are a little loose. I don't like that his legs and knees are a little loose and fragile. So that's the part that does scare me about his legs. I feel like if you get rough with his legs and moving them too fast or pulling on them, they could break off, and that's my big concern. Other than that, his joints are solid, though, for the most part on his arms. Even though he's hollow plastic, he's a very solid toy. If I threw him around the room, he probably wouldn't break, and even if he did, there's ways to fix him because he's a pretty easy toy to fix. That's just my final thoughts on this Rocky. I will only recommend you buy this if you're a hardcore Toy Story fan and collector and you actually want movie accurate props, then this is the Rocky for you. If you're just a casual Toy Story fan and don't want movie accurate props or don't want to spend the money to collect a movie accurate prop, I recommend you get the regular tiny 7-inch scale Rocky. He's great too. But if you want to be serious and buy something more intense or movie accurate, then this is the Rocky that you need to buy, made by Cop on Instagram. So happy toy hunting out there. I hope you enjoyed this review and mod. And yeah, if you collect this Rocky and he has issues, don't worry, there's ways to fix him. But for the most part, he is an amazing toy. As always, partners, we're on our way to 100,000 subs this year. So to get your support, all I need you to do is hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted for future videos on this channel, and I'll see you, partners, on the next video review.
You want the real Buzz Lightyear? You're an action figure!
You are a sad, strange little man. You are a sad, strange little man.
You are a child's plaything!
Hey, Ham, look, I'm Picasso.
I don't get it.